Let's bring in New York Times columnist who wrote the book on Disney, CNBC contributor Jim Stewart. Jim, always great to get your take on these things.
Great, good to be with you.
Is it your sense that there is a rift going on? Before, the men seemed to be close. It was reported that they would talk almost every single day, and that just has not happened lately.
No, as CNBC really has been out in front on that story. But I think this is really the tip of an iceberg, if you want to call it that. The rift is just part of a much broader problem, I think, that the new management, led by CEO Bob Chapek, is confronting at Disney. There have been growing morale problems, ever more open criticism of some of the management decisions that have been made, these constant reshufflings of executive lines of authority, and then finally culminating in this fiasco over the Don't Say Gay law in Florida, which has now managed to alienate pretty much everybody. It is, I think, a growing cause for concern among many investors about, after years of a very smooth, well-oiled managed machine there, a company that in some ways looks like it might be going off the rails.
Would it be too big of a jump to say that perhaps Bob Chapek's days are numbered?
I wouldn't want to go there yet. After all, this board put him in place not that long ago. To now decide they need to replace him would be essentially admitting that they made a monumental mistake. And I don't know that the data is there yet to take such a precipitous step. But something has got to change there. I mean, I've been hearing now for months from many of my sources in Disney about the mounting dismay and the dissatisfaction there. The sort of the tone-deaf quality coming out of the executive suite, the decisions that, have really caused morale issues. Take the decision to move the Imagineers from Southern California to Florida to save $500 million over 20 years. People on the outside, I think, don't understand the Imagineers. That is the heart of the Disney company. That was Walt Disney's personal baby, and they're highly creative, highly respected within the company, and they're all extremely upset about this. And while the money sounds good, when you realize it's $500 million over 20 years, that's $25 million a year in savings. Really, for a company like Disney, that's barely a rounding error, and it has created this massive dissatisfaction there.
Hey, Jim, it's Tim Seymour. Hear you on that, and certainly that kind of dysfunction at the top could hinder the creative process. But quickly, as you look at the studio and you look at the release schedule and the slate and really what is this powerful flywheel dynamic for Disney into their distribution and their theme parks, how are you assessing the next 12 months?
Well, I think they have been performing very well. I mean, the recent earnings were quite good. The stock has not responded for reasons I think that go beyond the immediate earnings issues, but I think the company has been working well. The problem is that that the creative thing is the heart of the company, and there is no more industry than Hollywood entertainment that depends on relationships. And Bob Iger was the master of that. He could take a star, a director, a studio executive to lunch or dinner, and they always came out feeling great about it. It's going to be hard to replace him in that respect, but Chapek has not shown that interest in or affinity for the creative people that fuel that pipeline into Disney. And many of these recent successful projects have their roots, years ago, and Iger himself continued to play a very big role in the creative process until he left finally not that long ago. So I think that this is one of the things that people worry most about, which is Chapek's relationship to the creative community.
Any chance maybe that Bob Iger could come back down the road? I mean, we just saw it with between Kevin Johnson and Howard Schultz, so it's making everybody think, bring back the storied predecessor.
Well, I would never say never. I think that's an unlikely scenario. Bob had a long run there, very, very successful. I'm not sure that he would want to step back in, except on maybe a very short-term basis. But there is, and again, I don't think the board is anywhere near replacing Chapek at this point, but there are candidates out there. I mean, Disney has a long tradition of promoting from within, but in their former COO, Tom Staggs, and Kevin Mayer, who was the architect of their very successful streaming strategy on which they've now pinned the company, they do have two former executives sitting out there who would certainly seem to be very viable replacements should they reach the decision that they need to do that. But by no way am I suggesting that the board is at the point of getting rid of their, recently handpicked choice as CEO.